Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me for another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really simple face mask. I've had a lot of requests for different patterns. I think this is now my fourth and final mask tutorial video that I'm going to be putting together. People requesting masks that have a different back from the front, so it's easy to distinguish the back from the front of the mask when putting it on. A mask that contains a filter pocket, as well as a mask that doesn't have pleats to make the sewing a little bit easier. So I came up with this design and I can show you how it fits. It's a great mask, goes on really fast, it's washable, and it's really comfortable to wear. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make these. It takes about 5 minutes to make per mask. Check the description box down below. I'll have a list of all the things that I used to create these masks, as well as the dimensions for the fabric that I'm going to be cutting. Let's get started. So before we begin sewing our face masks, let's go ahead and get our supplies together. Let's take that 50-inch piece of synthetic clothesline material, cut it to the size that you need, and you're going to tie a knot on the end. Now let's go ahead and prep our fabric. Make sure that you're using 100% cotton quilting fabric and that it is washed, dried, and pressed and ready to be used. You're going to take and you're going to cut 3 pieces of your fabric 10 inches wide by 8 inches high. You're going to have 1 piece out of your exterior fabric and 2 of the same piece cut for the interior part of your mask. This is going to be the pieces that have our filter in them. Your piece of your mask should now be assembled. Take the exterior piece of your mask and lay it facing up. Take your filter pocket and you're going to lay it on top of that exterior piece of fabric. At this point, it shouldn't matter what side of the interior is touching this piece of fabric. They should both be the same. Now we're going to stitch all the way around the exterior of the mask using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You don't have to leave an opening to turn this mask because we're going to turn it through the filter pocket. Now take a pair of scissors and clip the corners, being careful not to clip through the line of stitching that you just made. This is just going to help ease the corners. Okay, now we're going to turn our mask. So open up that filter pocket and carefully turn the mask right side out. You can use your hands to do most of this. Then you can take whatever kind of tool you have. A pencil will work just fine. Just be careful not to poke it too hard in the corners. You don't want it to rip the fabric. Now you're going to take your mask, fold it with the filter pocket facing up. You're going to fold up one of the ends about 3/4 of an inch and give it a press. Do the same thing to the other side. Alright, so for this next part you're going to need clips or pins and your 55-inch piece of synthetic clothesline material. Take the two raw ends, put them on the same side, making sure there is no loops in your mask or knots. You're going to lay that clothesline in those pressed seams on both sides. There should be a loop at the top of your mask. Now I'm going to take the corner of this flap that we ironed and fold it in to meet the seamed line. Tuck in that cord, fold that piece over, and take either a clip or a pin and pin that down. And do the same to the other side. Starting at the top edge of the mask here, you're going to sew all the way down. Making sure you backstitch when you meet this edge of the mask here and here. So for this part of the video, you're going to need a 7-inch piece of light gardening wire. This wire, as well as this synthetic clothesline, I was able to pick up at my local hardware store. They do sell the clothesline at craft stores like Joann's and Michael's and Hobby Lobby as well, but all of those stores are closed right now. So check your local hardware store if you're not able to find these materials. So now I'm just taking the end of the wire, folding it twice in on itself, making sure that none of the sharp edges of the wire are sticking out and going to poke through the mask. So to insert this piece of wire, go in through the filter pocket and put it at the top of the mask. The top of the mask is going to be the end that has the two raw ends of cording. This is going to be tied up on top of your head behind your ears, so this is going to be the top. Insert that piece of wire, slide it all the way up to the top, and then you're going to go ahead and just sew from this seam down to this seam. This is just going to encase this piece of wire so it doesn't shift around on your face mask. When you're sewing this, just be careful that you don't sew through the wire. It will probably break your needle. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more DIYs, crafts, sewing, knitting, and crochet project. Thank you so much for joining me today for another tutorial video where I showed you how to make this really simple face mask pattern. I hope even if you're a beginning sewer that I made the directions clear and easy to follow, so you'll consider making some for your local hospital, urgent care clinic, or long-term care facility near you. From all of us on the front lines, thank you so much for the donation of your time as well as your materials. We really couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much for watching.